Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the On the Diamond Into the Deep podcast. As always, I am your host, Mahal, and we are here post-game from Game 4 of the American League Championship Series. The Mariners have dropped this game by a score of 8-2. And welcome to episode 91 of the show. The series is now split 2-2. We head into Game 5 tomorrow, which could be a decisive game in the series. There are 3 games potentially left to play. It feels like this is probably going to go to Game 7. And it hurts. I'm trying to think of the words sort of to describe where we're at right now. And I think the first thing my head goes to is the vibes are at an all-time low. And understandably, you went from picking up 2 games in Toronto, feeling great, going back home, having the opportunity to win 2 games of 3 at home, and head to the World Series. But that's not what happened. You have dropped the first 2 at home. You have a third one tomorrow with Bryce Miller on the mound, assuming Brian Wu, if everything goes to plan, would piggyback him. But vibes are low, understandably, like I said. But also, I think it's important to not lose your mind right now. To me, this is less of an anger and a frustration and we should have gotten this done. It's over. It's more of a disappointment. It's more of a sadness. It's more of a, we wanted to win one of these 2 games. We didn't. We wanted to win tonight. We didn't. We had 2 guys that we really liked on the mound, and we thought that at least one of them would show up, and neither of them really showed up at all. And look, you can question how Dan Wilson managed tonight's game. You can question why he pulled Luis when he did. You can question why Luis didn't have it. You can question all that. But to me, the biggest problem has been the bats. I mean, you got sliced and diced by a 41-year-old Max Scherzer, who by no means was bad tonight. I don't want that to be what comes across from me. Max Scherzer was actually good tonight. His stuff looked very good, including that curveball. But the Mariners did themselves no favors. They chased a lot of pitches. They didn't hit anything over the plate. And they allowed Scherzer to do what he wanted. They allowed Scherzer to be in command of the game. And as a lineup, what you want to do is you want to be able to take command. You want to be able to work the counts and make the pitcher find the strike zone. Instead of doing that, the Mariners chased stuff outside of the strike zone. They didn't force him into the zone. Instead, they sort of forced him out of the zone in a way where they allowed him to pitch outside the zone and still get outs, still get strikeouts, still get whiffs, all that good stuff for a pitcher. So to me, it's less so a problem right now of your starting pitching, and that might sound crazy to people because starting pitching is the strength, and I've hammered this down all year, where your pitching is your strength, and you need those 2 things to be good. But look, it's really hard to be good against a good Toronto Blue Jays lineup, and when your offense is scoring 2 runs, it's not good enough. And when you're running into outs on the base paths, it's not good enough. The team is doing themselves no favors at all. They're running into outs. They're giving the Blue Jays extra outs. It's stuff that you can't be doing in the American League Championship Series. You can't be doing this stuff in the CS. And it sucks that it's happening. And there's holes being shown up, and you're seeing why the Blue Jays are a good matchup for the Mariners, because the Blue Jays put the ball in play, and the Mariners pitching staff likes to be over the plate, and if they're too much over the plate, the Blue Jays make them pay, and that's what's happened 2 games here in a row. 2 games in a row it's been in the 3rd inning. It felt eerily similar in the 3rd inning. Double with Dan Wilson on the mic, and a homer by Andrés Giménez. And you're letting the 9-hitter of the Toronto Blue Jays beat you. If you're going to lose to the Blue Jays, I want you to lose to Vladdy and George Springer. I don't want you to lose because Andrés Giménez is hitting homers. This is a guy you need to get out. And in some ways, maybe them beating you that way is better because you're still getting some of those big guys out. But it's more frustrating to me when you're letting a 9-hitter in Andrés Giménez, who had 7 home runs the entire season, hit home runs in back-to-back games against you. That's the frustration. Losing the game itself is disappointing. But how you are giving up some of these runs is disappointing. It's frustrating. And by no means is this over. You're in a 3-game series now. You have the opportunity to come back tomorrow, win a ball game, and then all you have to do is split a 2-game series in Toronto, and you are in the World Series. All of this is easier said than done. None of this is a given. But it never was going to be. You are playing a very good team in the Toronto Blue Jays, and I don't want to sweep that under the rug. This is a very good team on both sides of the ball, especially that lineup. They score a lot of runs. They put the ball in play. They know how to string hits together. And when you are allowing them to string hits together, you are going to get beat. It's pretty simple as that. You can't give them free passes. And when their hits are finding grass, sometimes you're going to get beat. You have to win 2 of these next 3 games to get to where you want to be, to win a pennant. That's what you want to do. Anything less is going to be a disappointment because of how close you've gotten. And hopefully we don't have to talk about that. Hopefully we don't have to talk about, oh, they're up 2-0 in the ALCS. What went wrong? I don't want to have that conversation. I'd rather have a conversation where they go to the World Series and it's you got beat by the star power of the super team Los Angeles Dodgers that shouldn't even exist because Major League Baseball is stupid. But right now, you're staring down the barrel, it feels like, at least, of what went wrong in the ALCS for the, 4th time in franchise history? And I wasn't there for any of those times. But you had a 2-game lead for the first time ever in the ALCS, and you felt like you were in command heading back home with that 2-game lead. And I don't want this to be some doom and gloom episode. If anything, I want this to be on more of a positive note. Because I still believe this team can do it. But for me, it starts with the bottom of the order and Randy Arozarena producing. Look, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez are both prone to strikeouts. They're going to strike out. But they've also both been very good in this postseason, and they can't carry you all the way. It's just not possible. Jorge Polanco's been very good. Josh Naylor's been very good. You've had 4 guys in your lineup that have been pretty solid to pretty good. But you have Randy Arozarena, Eugenio Suarez, Dom Canzone, Victor Robles, J.P. Crawford. And you could throw in Leo Rivas, though he got robbed twice tonight of extra bases. That is a large presence in your lineup that's just not getting it done. And it starts for me with Randy Arozarena. Randy Arozarena's job in the leadoff spot is to get on base in front of your big guys in Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Jorge Polanco, Josh Naylor. You want those guys to come up with runners on. Look at last night's ballgame, first inning. Randy Arozarena gets on. Cal gets out. Randy steals a base. Julio goes yard. That could have been a solo home run. Instead, it was a 2-run homer. Look at the day before. Randy Arozarena gets on. Cal Raleigh gets on. Julio goes yard. You have a 3-run lead. Then look at tonight. They go down in order. There's a difference. There's a big difference, in fact. And I just want to correct, I don't think they actually did go down in order because now that I'm thinking about it, Polanco grounded into a double play. But you get what my point is. You want runners on in front of those guys. And really, in the first inning, you probably should have had some runs. And that in of itself is frustrating because the guy that's come through for you time and time again this postseason didn't come through. But I can't be mad at him for that. He's come through how many times this postseason? He's not going to come through every time. And that was all the traffic you had that entire baseball game, pretty much. At least that mattered. And then when you had it next, you ran into an out on the base paths. You can talk about Leo Rivas, but I'm talking about Naylor's. And Naylor's a guy that's been a great base runner for you. He's stolen a lot of bases. He's been really smart, but one chance where he wasn't the smartest player. And you paid for it. You could have had a 2-3 run inning, and you're right back in the game there. You score another run in that inning, it's 5-3. Now, Bizzardo gave up a homer to Vladdy. Of course, that made it 6-2. But even 6-3 feels a lot different than 6-2 does. And maybe that homer doesn't happen. You never know. But the thing I want to nail down on this episode is it's not over. And don't be pissed. Flush it. Be upset, whatever. But there's no reason to be angry right now. Stay level-headed. Because this team can do it. And if you've seen this team play, believe in them. Look at what they did in the Detroit series. They went against odds. After that first game, it felt like, I don't know. But they came back. They won Game 2 and Game 3. Look, this feeling is similar to that of Game 1 of that Detroit series, where it's just a disappointment. They can come back from this. I think they can, and I think they will. I'm going to choose to believe instead of be pissed at ownership and the front office and the players and all of that. I'm going to stick with Eugenio Suarez's good vibes only, baby. Because that's all you can ask for right now. And when the season comes to a close eventually, we'll talk about what happened. But I'm not ready for that conversation yet. I don't think you guys are. I'm here to talk about the Mariners being in the damn ALCS and having an opportunity to go to the World Series. Having the opportunity to win a 3-game series to go to the World Series. This is far from over, but you got to start getting some guys producing. It's going to start tomorrow. You need Bryce Miller to execute pitches. If he can get you 3 clean innings and you can hand the ball to Bryce Miller, I'm feeling great. And if he can do that, you're going to need this lineup to produce. And if this lineup can get a run early, a run or two early, they need to keep adding on. They don't need to just sit on their asses after that. Because that's what they've done 2 games in a row. You've gotten the lead early. You got to add on. Maintain momentum. Keep nailing their starter and get into that Toronto Blue Jays bullpen that is the weakness of their entire team. You have to exploit weaknesses. And what the Blue Jays have done is they've exploited the matchup that works for them, where the Mariners love throwing over the middle of the plate with their starting pitchers, and that's how the Blue Jays have attacked. They've hit the balls over the middle of the plate. Now the Mariners need to find a way to bounce back, take a shot back. Because you can't just take a shot, get hit, and just fall backwards. You got to hit back. And tomorrow's your opportunity to hit back. You've gotten a punch to the gut. But it's not hard enough yet. You lose tomorrow, maybe that's when the gut punch truly is hard enough to where it doesn't feel like you can come back. But as of right now, I think this team can do it. It'll be go time tomorrow. Bryce Miller, Kevin Gausman. And I really hope we get the good version of Bryce Miller tomorrow. Because it'll make a huge difference one way or another. And on tomorrow, I'd expect Dan Wilson to be very quick to the bullpen again. And I don't want to talk about the decisions he made tonight to go on from Castillo, and then to go to Spire, and then to Brash. The only one I really had a problem with was leaving Spire in to face Springer. But you continued giving up runs even after that. So to me, the biggest problem is the offense. The offense has to figure it out. And that starts tomorrow against Kevin Gausman, who has a very, very good splitter, and splitters have caused the Mariners problems. So it's going to be an interesting watch. We'll see what they can do. It's going to be similar to Trey Savage, where they just had to lay off that splitter. And if they can lay off that splitter, I think they can be fine. But that's what you got to do. It's going to start with laying off that splitter, working good at bats, and trying to get into that bullpen. That's going to be key number 1 to tomorrow's game. And number 2 is going to be getting through the 3rd inning. Because they cannot seem to do that right now at T-Mobile Park. But let's win tomorrow, put the pressure on Toronto to win 2 games in a row at home. And, I mean, this team does nothing if not make it dramatic at the very least. We will talk again likely after the series. I'm trying to think. I will try and get an episode out after the series. We might be able to get one out Saturday if possible. Depends kind of what happens tomorrow, I think. But depending on what happens tomorrow, we will probably preview at least Sunday's game, hopefully Saturday. And if you're not following me on TikTok, I've been pumping out content a lot on there. We've been doing game previews, post-game thoughts. So pre-game, post-game thoughts, both on there. So if you want to see more content from me with more thoughts that are a little bit less in depth, but are more tailored to just a quick pre-game, post-game thought and seeing where my head's at, go follow me on TikTok at Diamond and Deep. Also been posting some of them on Instagram, also at Diamond and Deep. As always, like, subscribe, give us a follow, subscription, all that good stuff. Follow me on socials at Diamond and Deep. We've been active Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok quite a bit recently. Enjoy your night. Game 5 tomorrow. Hopefully the Mariners can get a win. As always, y'all, go M's. Thank you for listening. This has been episode 91 of On the Diamond Into the Deep. Go M's and peace.